Thank you all for coming out to support us tonight. This is by far the most people we have ever had at our chapter banquet. When I was trying to write this speech, I began by reflecting on everything that I had done in the FFA. There have been so many places that this blue jacket has taken me that it is really crazy to think about. I have served as a chapter officer for 3 years now. As a sophomore, I was a reporter and I was recognized as a top 10 chapter reporter in the state. As a junior, I got to serve as chapter president, where I was recognized as a gold-rated chapter president, and I also got to serve as a section sentinel. It had almost been a decade since there was a section officer from South Central, so it was really cool. This year I've had the opportunity to serve as the chapter's treasurer, and even crazier yet, I had the opportunity to be the Section 19 president, something that had never been done by a South Central FFA member and had only been done from before we consolidated from Kim and Alma in the 1980s. This opportunity has allowed me to travel all across the state at conferences as well as other events, spend an entire week at National Convention representing our chapter at the national level, and just serve this organization that has made such a big impact on my life. I was recognized by the state as a top 10 section president, and I even had the opportunity to throw my hat in the ring to serve as a major state officer next year. Unfortunately, that didn't work out, but it was still an amazing opportunity that only a few select FFA members get to do. I'm proud of these accolades, but I'm most proud of the work that was put in during those years to achieve them. I am even prouder yet to have broken down those barriers to show that a kid from South Central can do these things and inspire the next generation of FFA members. However, none of this could be possible without one thing. It is even hard to think about FFA at all without thinking about that one thing. Well, some people call that thing a man, Mr. Wollin. This man has truly been a blessing to my life. And I know every South Central FFA member that has walked through his door would say the same. To say that Mr. Wollin and I have developed a special bond over the years would be an understatement. I think back to freshman Dennis, who had so much potential, and how Mr. Wollin saw who I could be even before I did. It makes me think of a story from my freshman year. It takes place on August 31st, 2018, only a few weeks into my high school career. This is also a story of my first official trip to the principal's office, as well as a special trip to the hallway for one of Mr. Wollin's talks. Mr. Wollin was not at school that day. I believe he was at horse judging. And as 15-year-old boys do, some of the freshman guys and I, and Intro to Ag, wanted to play a little trick on the sub. This includes the familiar faces that you can all see at the head table here tonight: Alec, Carter, and Brant. Eli didn't join South Central until the second semester of that year, but I'm certain that he would have been in on it too. Anyways, I came up with a master plan that when the sub would call our names for attendance, we would pretend to be each other. Sounds great, right? Well, this is when the story begins to dip downhill for us. When Alec's name was called, I pretended to be him, and when my name was called, Alec pretended to be me. The sub then started looking at the two of us with a lot of suspicion. She asked Alec who my mom was, and when he didn't know, we knew it was all over. She then looked over at me and said, "Young man with the glasses on, are you the real Mr. Wollin?" I stared at the ground, my heart sank, and I stared at the ground and mumbled to her, "Yes." For those of you that do not know this sub's name, it was Mrs. Kathy Grant. And those who know her well know she is not the kind of person to play pranks on. She did inform me that not only did she go to my church, but she also knew my parents, and she was at their wedding. I know, what are the odds? I was embarrassed and worried sick when she wrote a note to Mr. Wollin about my behavior that day. The next morning, the other guys and I were pulled outside at the beginning of class and met with a pretty good grilling from Mr. Wollin. It would be the first, but not the last. We all know that nobody is perfect, but us senior guys must be more unperfect than the average person because over the past 4 years, we have been grilled a lot. During the time of getting grilled by Mr. Wollin, it can be pretty aggravating. But I know looking back that it was all done out of love and respect because he understands that we can all do better. It takes discipline to grow as a person. I would not be the driven and outgoing leader that I am today without him or the FFA. And I am forever in debt to this man. Even though sometimes it seems his advice is a little more than just from time to time as the need arises, I can confirm that it is always based on true knowledge and ripened with wisdom. Mr. Wollin, please come up here for a second. You know, after 4 years of getting grilled by you, we couldn't help but get the final laugh. Boys, bring her in. As part of the graduating gift, we decided that there's no better way to remember you by than by getting you your own grill. Now, this state-of-the-art machine is manufactured by the 217 Grilling Company, and man, is she a beauty. It has 5 burners and a side burner that will help you do all the grilling that you won't be able to do to us anymore. You will no longer have to search for a grill for all the FFA cookouts, and you can finally throw away that rusty one you have at home. Please accept this gift from Alec, Eli, Carter, Brant, and I, and please, always think of us when you fire it up. Thank you for everything you've done to us, and we are all excited to come back and help out as alumni.